Now. All right, so welcome to this webinar for the new HPSSC, or the Human Performance and Sports Science Center, here at the University of Michigan for our new winter 2024 courses. This webinar will serve to answer questions that students might have about the upcoming courses, provide some general information on what to expect for the course information, and then just an opportunity to answer any questions that you might have. So if you do have questions that come up, you can go ahead and use the Q&A function on Zoom, and I'm happy to answer any of those questions for you. If you don't have any direct questions right now, you can always visit our website, and then we have an email address there that you can ask questions to, and happy to answer anything that might come up. So the Human Performance and Sports Science Center, or HPSSE, it really serves to provide some information to students, kind of a variety of backgrounds on topics in sports science. So this is really meant for individuals with a variety of interests and backgrounds to get that exposure in courses that they might not have in their regular course programming. So we're really excited to release a couple of new courses for the winter 2024 term. My name is Alex Lemke, and as the Associate Director of Academics for the center, I was really excited to develop two new courses, which is what I'll be speaking about today, again, that will launch here shortly as the fall semester is winding down rapidly. So one of the strategic priorities is to build innovative academic frameworks to support new knowledge in inclusive, accessible, and equitable education environments, focused on human performance and sports science more specifically. So that's exactly what the content of the courses will look like for this upcoming term. So if any of you have been in the School of Kinesiology building or have kind of seen the flyering go around, you might have seen this kind of pop up here. So these new courses are available, and they also have hybrid options, which I will get into in just a bit. So you can either be in person or remote, yet synchronous for the course content. So the two courses that will be launched for the winter are the Kin Study 200 and 201. The first course is called Topics in Human Performance, and the second one is an Introduction to Technology and Data in Sports Science. If you use your smartphone, you can scan this QR code here, and that will take you directly to the HPSSE website so that you can get more direct information about the courses, and also link directly to the Atlas page for the courses so that you can add this to your backpack and enroll in the courses if you're interested. So I'm going to delve in a little bit more in detail to the first course here. So the first course is the Kin Study 200 Topics in Human Performance. And I know I said this is a new course, but I actually have taught this course once before. So the first time that this course was offered, it was an experimental course in applied exercise science in the School of Kinesiology. But this is now accepted as a full course called Kin Study 200. And this is open to all undergraduate students at the University of Michigan. So this is an undergraduate level course for 3 credits. It used to be the case that certain schools would not accept kinesiology credits towards a degree. However, this has changed, so that's really great news. Any student can take this course and get credits towards their degree. A little bit more detail about this course for the winter term. This will be offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. with, again, both in-person and remote options. So the remote option will be a synchronous Zoom link where you'll be able to interact with the course content, hear the lectures, and still participate in some of the course activities through breakout room functions, etc. So I'll get into that in just a moment here. So really, what is this Kin Study 200? The overarching purpose of this course is to serve as an introduction to a variety of topics in the science and practice of improving human athletic performance. So potentially you're interested in this just from a personal standpoint, if you participate in any athletic activities or just general conditioning of your own. We've had students in the past be really interested in that lens. Or potentially you're thinking about applying these kinds of topics to your own academic pursuits or even professional pursuits. So individuals that are interested in going into industry frameworks, potentially academia, potentially working with sports teams. There's a lot of different applications for these topics that can really apply to students of all different disciplines. What's a really unique feature about this course is that there are expert guest speakers with applied experience in each topic area that will join the course remotely, potentially in person, depending on who exactly is speaking. But oftentimes this will be done through the Zoom function so that you can also have an opportunity to ask questions of them. And they are very gracious in providing their contact information so you can get in touch with experts in really applied settings. So just as a general idea of what the course covers, the topics really range across a whole gambit. So essentially how the course is structured, that each week will follow a specific topic, so that there's one course that will be a lecture of that topic, and then the second course is more discussion and applied practice based. So there's a couple of lectures on training, the theory of training, how to optimize this for endurance and strength and power. We also get into topics of overtraining, sleep, nutrition, psychology, coaching, equipment, performance analyses, adaptive performance, meaning performance for individuals who might have physical disabilities or mental disabilities, as well as expected changes in performance across the lifespan. We were very fortunate to have some fantastic guest speakers last semester that we had this. We had the University of Virginia men's basketball head strength and conditioning coach. We had a professional business owner as well as an NCAA track and field coaching experience. And they actually currently work with a high school level team who just won the state championship. So pretty amazing. We also had the performance and development scientists at Orlando Magic for the NBA team there, as well as the director for sport exercise psychology at the University of Kentucky. So as you can see, there's a lot of fantastic guest lectures to expect in this course. They might not be available every single semester. However, we have a pretty big roster of guest speakers that could come and speak on these topics. So this is sure to not disappoint, and a really great experience to get exposure to people who use the topics in this class on a daily basis. In terms of what to expect for the course activities, there's a variety of ways that you participate in the class. So in addition to just regular lectures and regular exams, there's 3 exams throughout the semester. There's also a lot of opportunities for engagement with the material. So there's low stakes kind of review quizzes. So this is really just looking at like polling activities in the class, making sure that you stay on top of the material and keep up with everything that's offered, as well as class-based discussions. These occur both in small groups to work on a worksheet together, on an applied topic, a case study, etc. So that all kind of integrates into one, as well as kind of a full group class discussion where we bring it back and talk about what happened in those small groups. There's worksheets to cover the guest lecture materials, so that way you can keep track of what the guest lecturer spoke about, ask any questions that you might have. And then finally, another really interesting component of this class is the media projects, where you work with a few other folks in the class to cover a sports science or human performance topic in more depth. So that's not necessarily anything that was directly covered in the course, but applying some of the concepts in that to an outcome of interest. So for example, we had some students last time look at the effects of caffeine on athletic performance. So again, getting into a little bit kind of tangential topics to the course, but still very relevant for human performance. Okay, I'm going to switch gears now to talk about the Kin Study 201. This will be a brand new course. This has not been delivered yet, but this course is the technology and data and sports science topic within the School of Kinesiology, but again, broadly applicable to a range of students outside. So similar to the last course, this is an undergraduate level class for 3 credits, regardless of what school you're in. This will also be delivered on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the timing there will be from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you are also planning on taking the Kin Study 200 level course, that will kind of go back to back, which might be kind of nice. The courses do not build on one another and can be taken totally separately. However, some of the topics might be of interest to you kind of across the range, in which case we encourage you to enroll in both. This will follow the exact same format of in-person and remote options with a remote synchronous component there. So everything will be done at the same time as the students in the class, just via Zoom. All right, so getting into the nitty-gritty of this class a little bit more. So the purpose of this course is to serve as an introduction to recent advancements in sport technology, specifically with an emphasis in wearable and portable technology. So you might be aware that there's a lot of different types of assessment approaches that we can do to assess athletic movements, general physiology, movement patterns, anything that you might want with technology in a lab-based space. But what's really compelling is this advancement of really small sensors that can pick up movement and other health-related outcomes through these wearable and portable technologies. If anyone has a wristwatch on right now, this is measuring a lot of outcomes about you as you're just going through your daily life. Same thing with the phone that's in your pocket, right? A lot of it is measuring how you're moving and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So this is a super important topic and something I'm really passionate about. But this course will really serve to give some preliminary opportunities to work with some of the data that you can get from portable technologies so that you can start to answer questions pertinent to your own interests or potentially your professional interests as well. The market is really moving towards big data, especially with the wearable technology. So this is going to be a huge benefit for anyone who might be interested in going into that sort of a space in their professional career. So the way that this course is broken down is that there's 3 main sections. You can kind of think about the course though in 2 main parts. So section 1 and section 2 with section 3 kind of interspersed throughout. So for section 1, we have the sport technology and measurement. So the first half of the course is really going to get into the nitty-gritty of the types of wearable devices that are on the market, as well as their specific measurement components. So kind of the technical information on how the wearables are set up and how they're actually able to measure movement and other outcomes of interest. We'll also get into a little bit of the ethics in sport technology and measurement, as this is a really important topic related to this overarching theme. The second part is going to be a really applied instance to work with data assessments and interpret some of those data in a sports science lens. So this course is really developed with the understanding that individuals might be coming in with no background at all in data. And my goal is to not scare anyone off because of that. But this is really a chance and kind of an introductory crash course on how to use some of those data in an applied setting. So we'll talk about reading data in from wearables, how we can get the data into a meaningful manner to look at some of the data outcomes. We can think through some of what we should do on the stat side of things, and then get into data visualization. So again, very broad, and we'll go through a lot of kind of step-by-step processes to make sure everyone is on the same page. But this is a really exciting kind of approach to look at the tech side as well as the data side. The section 3, again, I mentioned this is going to be interspersed throughout the course. These are going to be the applications in sports science data. So it might seem like we're getting really technical, right, with the technology and measurement and the data, but then I'm really going to bring in guest speakers to talk about how this is actually used in an applied setting. So we'll talk about wearable technology in professional sports, health and wellness assessments, health behavior interventions, and then injury evaluation and rehabilitation. So those are just a few of the topics there. You'll also get a chance as a student to work through some projects as well, thinking through how you would apply some of those data. So very similar to the first course, a lot of the course has built-in activities to do more hands-on based assessments, as well as working together in group projects to work through some of these topics. So specifically for this class, similar polling, similar class discussions. However, there's now going to be 2 projects and only 2 exams. So the projects are a really great way to apply your knowledge. The first one is a wearable technology group project where you report on an existing wearable technology, or if you're really interested in more of the engineering side of kind of what you would build to measure a specific outcome, that's a possibility for this kind of a project. The next one is a data interpretation project where you're going to be using some existing data and then assessing it, providing some nice data visualization, and kind of going through a workflow in that sense. We'll also go through a lot of applied examples in the class, so a lot of opportunities to work through those as well. So across both of these courses, there's a few features that are really unique that we want to highlight. So the content's can be very accessible regardless of your background or your major. So don't be afraid if you've never taken a kinesiology course before. Even those that don't have a kinesiology background are going to succeed in the course. The first iteration of the Topics in Human Performance course had a lot of students outside of the School of Kinesiology, and they really enjoyed the class. So I'd strongly encourage you to consider taking the courses even if you don't have that background. I mentioned this previously as well, that all programs can now receive credit towards their major for the kinesiology courses. So even if you're not in the School of Kinesiology, you still get credit towards your degree, and this is a really great opportunity that we're excited to share. We do have the hybrid in-person and online synchronous options. So if learning online works better for you, this is definitely a possibility. And then finally, throughout the course, there's going to be a lot of applications to personal and professional development, as demonstrated through our guest speakers, through the hands-on activities. And so I really hope that you can get a lot out of these courses to think about how you might be able to use these either in your day-to-day life, in your personal interests, or even your professional development. There's a couple of common questions that we just wanted to provide some answers to. So are the HPSSE courses open to all students? The courses are indeed open to all undergraduate students. So anyone can take these courses. There are no prerequisites for the classes. As long as it fits within your schedule to be synchronous, these are open to you as a student. In terms of which terms the HPSSE courses are offered, these two courses are going to be always offered in the winter terms. So if you're not able to take it this winter term and you still have some time left at the university, you will be able to take this next winter, and these will always be offered in the winter term. I just also wanted to throw out there that there is one other course that will be forthcoming that will start in the fall of 2024. So not offered just yet, not on record just yet, but this is something to look out for in terms of the social aspects of sports science. That will be the main topic for that final course. So can remote students take part in course activities? Absolutely, yes. So the synchronous online students will use the Zoom breakout functions to do the worksheets, the small group projects, and can still participate using the chat-based function and set up individual office hours, other meetings with students or with the professor throughout the course as well. And then finally, are the same guest speakers expected across semesters? So it's always dependent on guest speaker availability and who we're able to get for that semester. As I mentioned, we still have the recordings from all the original guest speakers, and so those are going to be offered to students. However, we might swap in with some other new guest speakers based on a long list of resources that we have. So this is a really great opportunity to engage with the content. We had a lot of students reach out to the guest speakers previously, and we're really excited to meet with them and learn about how they might get into a similar field. So that's a really important part of the course and definitely evolving throughout the semesters. All right, so that was about 20 minutes of just talking through the courses. Now happy to take any question and answer that you might have. Please feel free to use the Q&A function through Zoom, and I will get to your questions. So it looks like we already have one come through. So in regard to Kin Study 200, so the topics in human performance, will we have a chance to apply what we're learning, such as training techniques in class? Absolutely. So that really happens with the in-class worksheets and the in-class activities. So for example, we picked through some endurance-based training programs as well as strength-based training programs and talked about what the concepts were for the overall training principles in those instances. You'll also get a lot of examples in the class and can absolutely apply those to your own individual interests. That really can also get into the group projects where you can apply a topic in that class to a personal interest of yours. That's completely fine. Another really cool in-class activity that we did in the Kin Study 200 was to use an application on your phone to measure movement patterns across different activities of interest to you. So let's say you were interested in looking at doing a squat. You could actually use your phone to measure joint angles or how your legs were moving during the squat, and then compare how that would change with some sort of a manipulation, such as wearing a backpack on your back while doing the squat, or holding a weight out in front of you, or standing with a wider or a more narrow stance width. So there's a lot of applied examples in the classes, which is really great. So the goal is that you can then get that information, use it for what's of interest to you, and then apply it later on down the road as well. Any other questions in the chat at all? I'll just answer one other question that sometimes we have. So it's about the size of the class. If you've already looked at this class while you were backpacking, the course capacity is about 150 students. So that's current for the available courses. This may change in future semesters depending on demand, but that is the capacity of the course right now. So if you're interested, you can try either section, either the in-person or the remote synchronous, and see what works best. And see what might be open to you, but highly encourage you to add this to your backpack and then register once that's open. If there are no further questions in the chat, then I would just encourage you to please visit our website to get more information on the available courses. Add these courses to your backpack if you're interested. And then if there's any other questions that come up, there is an email address listed on our website where you can ask course-specific questions if you have anything that you need to have clarified at all. But if not, thank you so much for your attendance today, and really appreciate your interest in the courses. We're really excited to deliver this, and we're excited to see the excitement is mutual with students as well. So thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.